Tape www.suividecolosénégal.com. À École au Sénégal, c'est facile, tu n'as qu'à te connecter. Tape École au Sénégal, les leçons sont beaucoup plus détaillées.
Hostility. Being hostile. Oftentimes we hear this person is very hostile, or the country is full of hostility. Being hostile, it's an adjective because it describes something or someone. Hostile is someone that is filled with anger, with rage, is being unfriendly. You can't really break through. You can't really understand. You can't really get along. That is being hostile. It's an unfriendly attitude, And so hostility sometimes could be vis-a-vis people or a state or a country. Like, for example, right now they say Lebanon is very hostile, because a lot of wars, that is being hostile. The aggressive, that person or that thing is probably, or that movie could be filled with a lot of aggressivity. You're aggressive, you're angry, you're always ready to fight back, you're always ready to cause trouble. That is being hostile. It's a very, very negative form. Do you know examples of people, or do you have friends like that? Are you surrounded by people that are probably always hostile? Oftentimes you're bullies that will bully at you, Or do you know examples of countries or nations that say it's a hostile, nation? Most often, hostile nations are nations that are going through war, like probably Afghanistan or Chad or Lebanon or Turkey right now. Those are a lot of hostilities going on. When you hear that hostilities, you hear, we ask them to do a cessation of hostilities. That means that there's a lot of war, there's a lot of exchange of fist fighting and guns and all that. That is being hostile. And so I explained here what the meaning of hostility, it's being unfriendly. When you're hostile, you're unfriendly because nobody wants to come towards you. Nobody wants to feel minimized or attacked or bullied at or punched at. And so it's being unfriendly, filled with anger. You're always angry, filled with rage. You're always unhappy. You're not generous. You don't want to give back. You don't know what it means to care. You don't know what it means to kind of share. So you're not generous, It's a violent action, usually unprovoked. Being hostile, remember, it's not a thought, it's not a feeling, it's an action. Hostility, it's really you doing it. And oftentimes you're not even provoked at it, but because you're always hot, like they say, because you're always eager to attack. So oftentimes it's not even unprovoked. Oftentimes it could just be the little things that people do unintentionally that will just set you off. That is being hostile. You have hot blood, like they say. That is being hostile, And so it's an action. It's an action that you actually go through. That's why wars are all about feelings. Being ungenerous is not a feeling, it's an action. It means you cannot give. If you're unfriendly, it means that you're not able to communicate, you're not able to get along. If you're always angry, full with rage, not even sad, but you're that extreme, that is being hostile. And such people, or that kind of a nation, it's almost impossible to get access to. That's why they become unfriendly, because nobody wants to be in contact with a hostile person or hostile nation. Nobody wants to go there because you're not sure. Things will be uncertain. You're not sure what tomorrow might be. It's uncertain. That is being hostile. It's being in opposition. You always know. It's always negative. Because I don't want to hear it. You're always saying, no. And you're sitting, you're standing. You're always in contradiction. Even if you don't make a point, you're always in opposition. That is a hostile attitude. Your ill will. Ill will means your mind and heart, your ill will. You're not, you're wicked in your thoughts. You're not good in your thoughts. That's mean ill will means bad. Ill will, that means bad, Aggressive, you're always wanting to fight. You're always into action, ready to punch, ready to kick. That's being aggressive. You're wild. That is being aggressive. Unhospitable. You're not welcoming. You're not warm. You're not accessible. We can go through, we can just get along. We cannot disagree to agree. There's just no way, there's no point of mediation. That is being unhospitable, unwelcoming, unaccommodative, not warm. What are some of the causes of hostility? What would cause someone to get to this extreme? A lot of people, a lot of reasons that are being given. But oftentimes the main one is that the person has a lot of anger boiled in. That person is always angry. Nothing makes him happy. The person is always ready to attack, to fight, to punch back, or cause harm. So sometimes it could be anger. Anger could be one of the reasons. If you feel a lot of anger, you feel a lot of rage. Rage and anger are probably the same thing. They're all the same thing. You feel a lot of rage, a lot of anger, and so you get to be hostile. You get to be unfriendly. Maybe that person has gone through a lot of trauma. Sometimes mental trauma. Trauma means a bad phase, a difficult period, a negative period. You've gone through a lot of trauma that after a while you get so traumatized as you grow up. Someone that has lived in a lot of violence probably would be hostile because you've seen probably a lot of guns, a lot of people dying, a lot of dead bodies everywhere. That could be that trauma, or you go through someone that has been, a childhood of spanking and punching and people mentally abusing you or insulting. That traumatizes someone. And as you grow up, you become more violent, you become more hostile towards people. It could be even substance abuse. Substance abuse are often people that take drugs, like, all kinds of drugs are not even on the cocaine or you name it. People that that consume a lot of drugs or a lot of alcohol. Because alcohol takes you off your normal memories, And so people that do a lot on substance abuse sometimes become very, very hostile, oftentimes towards their spouses, towards their husbands or towards their wives or children, family, oftentimes. So the use of substance abuse, drugs. I'm not talking about the good drugs like Tylenol or aspirin. I'm talking about the negative drugs that you shoot in with an injection. That could be cocaine, that could be PSG. I don't know some of those drugs. But yeah, Or it could be maybe just simply life crisis. People that grow up in violence, they grew up in the war, they've seen the war, like in Liberia, where you had those kids, soldiers, because they grew up in that. They saw their parents die in front of them. They saw your sisters and your moms being violated in front of them. So they have that hostile mentality, because of the situation that it's around, or you grow up in an environment that has a lot of gangs. Of course you'll be hostile. Oftentimes it takes a lot of work to come out of it, differently. So those are some of the life crises that could actually cause someone to be hostile. And then you have as well as bullying. People that bully a lot. And bullying is not good. I had a lot of people that have lost their lives because of being bullied. Bullying means you're stigmatizing someone. You're marginalizing someone, you're treating someone like a mess or so. Bully, that is being part of being a hostile person. And then where do we get the word hostility? It's from a Latin word called hostis. And hostis means enemy. It means enemy. Oftentimes we hear the word hostage. A lot of American movies you're gonna hear hostage. Hostage means being held up against your will. Someone comes in, and locks this place up and puts me in, and probably puts a gun. So it's oftentimes being held up or locked up against your will. That's being taken on hostage. It is against my will and you've taken me away. That is against my will. So hostage, hostility, these are all some of the words that you need to know about it. You should know that it's something negative, it's something extreme, it's something really at the end of it. It's something that has a lot of action to do with it. It consists of action because you show a lot of fight, a lot of anger, a lot of unfriendliness. That is being hostile, which of course is not good. So do you know, like I asked before, do you know countries that exhibit some of this? Are there some sentences that you would use? What are some of the synonyms of hostility? It could be antagonism, it could be communist, it could be dissociation, It could be rage. Those are some of the words that you can use for hostility. It could be violent. It could be wild. Those are some of the synonyms that you can use for hostility. This person is too wild. This person is very violent. This person is full of rage. You can replace that with hostilities. If you see some of those, that war was very violent. That country is full of hostilities. This person is very hostile. That movie is very hostile. I didn't enjoy it. You may see I had probably a lot of war, a lot of anger in it. I hope that helps. See ya.
Jana together with son manga jangale gita do bouge do fire nge elef to tolo ci examen linga sala am na fita mo gënal assuré colo